Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do my October wrap up. Now, yeah, I've been away for a minute, but life is busy and yeah, it's hard to be doing videos when you're really, really busy. I had a lot of work, so I only read, sadly, 3 books. But on a high note, we are in now late November and I have finished my Goodreads challenge of 60 books. Yay! Okay, so originally I had put 100, but yeah, like I was out of sync already by the month of March. So I decided to lower it to 60 because that's what I normally read, around 60, a little bit more than 60. And that's what happened. I reached 60 this month of November. So what did I read? So I read 3 books, but I read 3 really good books. So the first one I'm going to talk about, and this book is really hard to talk about because it's, number one, it's a novella, and it's hard to speak about too much in detail because this is a kind of book that you need to experience. Now, I haven't seen a lot of people really talk about this book, so I don't know if it's because they didn't like it or because they don't know how to talk about it without spoiling it, which I totally get. So here it is. The book I'm talking about is Assembly by Natasha Brown. Now, I saw that this was coming out in the UK, and I had already heard echoes of this book being very good, but very different. And yes, it is, because one, it's a novella. It's only, let's see, I think it's only 100 pages. And it starts with a woman who's like at a garden party or something that's in the countryside of, like, I guess like outside of London. And she is contemplating over her life, over certain incidents. So it's sort of like we're in her mind, thinking, it's sort of like when you're at a party and there's a lot of people talking and movement and things like that. And then you're like, you're in your mind and you're thinking about what you're going to do next or what you did, before. And she is like on the verge of wanting to tear her life apart. And the book is interesting. I found this one really interesting. I think I gave it 4 stars because of the way it's written. It's not a linear type storyline. It has a very experimental retelling to it. So I'm not sure this is for everyone, but I quite liked it. I really did. I quite liked it. The writing is really good, and the concept and what she's trying to show through the novel, I think, is different than what we're used to seeing, the way she's presenting it. So that's why I really like this one. So this was, I think this was like maybe, I don't know, maybe the second book I read in the month of October, but really, really like this one. And I highly recommend it on audio. So what I did with this one was I read it on my own, just read the book. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And then I said, let me just check this out on audio because it's real short, So I said, okay, I'll get the audio. So I got the audio and I loved it even more because the actress that reads it, her name is something like Pippa something or other. It's a Black British actress, and she read this book. Wow, she did such a great job. So for example, if you're not invested in really getting the book because you're not really sure, well, go and get it on audio if you have like a free audio credit, or I don't know if it's on Scribd. I listened to it on Audible, but if you might be on Scribd for you, I highly recommend listening to it if you're not invested in buying the book. All right. The next book I read was The Salt Eaters by Toni Cade Bambara. Okay, so Toni Cade Bambara is a Black American writer. Black American writer. classic, somebody who I have always wanted to pick up something and have not done it. And one of the main ones that I wanted to pick up was Gorilla My Love. And then I have These Bones Are Not My Child, I think it's called, the title. But These Bones Are Not My Child is like, this is big. It's like a brick. And I didn't necessarily want that to be my first read of Toni Cade Bambara. So I was asked by Penguin to do an interview with Toni Cade Bambara's granddaughter, who's called Zoe Bambara, who is an activist, a very important activist right now that people are talking about. And so I had the pleasure of speaking with Zoe Bambara over on Instagram, on my Instagram Live. And we had the best talk. So we talked about this book called The Salt Eaters. I'm gonna be honest with you. This book is not an easy read. For a first read of Toni Cade Bambara, this is probably not the one. I'm going to be honest with you about that. I would probably say Gorilla My Love would be a better fit for a first read of Toni Cade Bambara. But you know me, I kind of sticks with it when I know it's like of caliber. And I'm so glad I did. So this story revolves around an activist who is struggling with her activism in the sense where I guess you could say she is getting burned out to a certain extent. And her name is Velma. And Velma is on the verge. Well, she's already tried to commit suicide once, and she was about to commit suicide again. And so now she's in trying to get help from another woman who is a healer. And this woman, what she does is she can touch your soul and bring you back and, revive you. And so we're reading about this woman who's healing her, who's trying to reach her, but Velma is fighting her. And so we're in Velma's head. So you're reading it and it's like stream of consciousness. And that's the part that makes it a tough read because you really have to stay hooked. But let me tell you, the book is fantastic when you can stick with it because it talks a lot about activism and the difficulty around activism and how activists are often not seen as needing help. And so with Zoe Bambara, we talked a lot about the importance of activists reviving themselves and healing themselves and getting therapy when they need it. Because it's like all kinds of jobs where you have to help people like nurses and doctors and social workers. Every case you take on, it's like it takes a little bit away from you. And so you need to replenish yourself and not wait until the cup is empty kind of thing. And so this book talks a lot about the community and the importance of activism within the Black community and what that looks like. And you see that through her interaction with the different people within this community. And it's just really, really good. Now, the book is not that long. It's just 246 pages. But it's not an easy read, like I said, and it might take you a minute. I think it took me maybe a week to read this, but I was steady on it. But I thoroughly enjoy it, and I recommend it. It was a 4 stars for me. So that's The Salt Eaters by Toni Cade Bambara. And the last book that I've read was A Cupboard Full of Coats by Yvette Edwards. And this was the Read So Lit read along in honor of Black History Month in the UK. And this book, wow. I mean, this book took a lot, like it took a lot out of me. Like it made me enraged, okay? But this is the story of Jinx and her mother. And they are living together for a while after the death of Jinx's father, and time goes on, and then her mother meets this man, and this man is not a particularly nice man because he is a controller and wife beater. And from the moment this man enters Jinx and her mother's lives, everything changes for Jinx and she feels abandoned. So what we see here is many years later, and Jinx has been married, divorced, and has a child, except the child lives with the father. And one day a knock at the door, and she opens the door, and it's that man who was living with her and her mother, that man's friend, who's called Lemon. That's his nickname, is Lemon. And Lemon comes back to sort of make Jinx confront what happened, but not only, maybe also to confront Jinx with some things that he has to tell her. That's all I'm gonna say. But you got to get your mind right for this one, okay? Because I mean, I'm just gonna put it out there. You know, when I say you got to get your mind right, that's my way of saying careful, you know, violence and stuff, y'all know. Anyway, so writing in this book was fantastic, storytelling on point, just one surprise after the other around. Every page was turned and there was a new surprise each time. And I say, wow. This did not feel like a book that was longlisted for the Man Booker. And this was longlisted for the Man Booker in 2011. God, what took me so long? This book is so good. So now I think the next book I might pick up by her is called The Mother. I think is one that I will read. So highly recommend A Cupboard Full of Coats. If you haven't read it, pick it up. If you've read it, you can go over to the live discussion that we had at the end of the month of October that I had with Michael from Michael Reads, Tatiana from Musical Tati. Follow both of them because they's the bomb, okay? And we had a really good in-depth conversation about A Cupboard Full of Coats. So pop over to that video and you can watch that. But, you know, black British writers really have it going on, and you can really feel how their literature it feels different than reading Black American literature. And I find that refreshing for me personally. So more people should be talking about Yvette Edwards, duh. So get on it. So that's all I have to say about this one. Full of great themes of mother-daughter relationships, and, you know, also coming of age, strained violent relationships, what a lie will do. You know, what it will do and what it won't do. I should say it that way. Lots of great themes. That's all I have for you today. Pick up A Cupboard Full of Coats. I'll see you guys real soon with another video. Bye-bye.